Hello, good morning. Happy Sunday morning, everybody.
Good
And
morning, sir.
good
Good
morning, good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And great to have you guys here. Great to have Avni here. Avni, thanks for, you know, agreeing to come over on this Sunday morning, apart from your schedule. And it's lovely. We're going to have a very nice dialogue today on Avni's the JE journey, and to be inspired by this. And we have our own JE batch going on, as well as I believe there are some students from who have who would be taking other JE programs. So it's good to kind of interact and connect, and learn from this. Um, Great. And without further ado, I'm just going to, briefly share about Avni, and then Avni would like to know more about you and your journey from there, and then we'll have questions. And this is intended to be a very informal kind of dialogue, so feel free to kind of ask your questions, and you know, I'm just going to admit something. Yeah, right. And it'll be great if when we're having question answer, if you can have your videos on so that Avni also knows the face behind the voice, and then we can have a more engaging dialogue. Great. So Avni's been a student of the JE program at DLRC, and she came from St. Joseph's. Is that right, Avni?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And she, I would say, she for the first year she had a peer with her. For the second year of the JE preparation program, she was the lone warrior. I call her the lone warrior who kind of surpassed the battle of JE. And in fact, the last 6 months were online, not because of COVID, and I guess they must have predicted COVID, I guess, the way they were doing that. But because she was alone, and she didn't have to travel to the campus per se, although I guess she would have really enjoyed doing those even classes on campus, on the beautiful campus of the LRC. Um, so after that, she got this lovely rank in the JE Advanced. There was some, I think, hiccups before that. She had some trouble with her. She was concerned a little with her ranking in the mains, in one of the mains, I guess. And there was some interesting stories there. And 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 after this, she's at IIT Madras right now in BTech Aviation. Is that right, or aerospace?
Aerospace
Aerospace,
engineering.
right. So BTech Aerospace, and she's doing a lot of things at IIT Madras also. So we'll get to know all of this. So Avni, please kind of share about yourself more, and whatever you think is relevant uh, to the students, and something that will give them a better idea about things. And yeah, let's carry on from there.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think Pawan did a good job of like capturing the whole journey. Uh, Basically, in like towards the end of 10th, I was introduced to the JE program at DLRC, and I think I joined in the summer of 10th after my boards were over, and I started doing a few classes a day. Not a day, like a few classes a week with Sudipta sir. And yeah, at that time it was me and Kanish who did it together. So throughout 11th we had, like, I think 2 classes a week for 3 hours each. And so that the sir would cover the theory for maths and physics and do a few basic problems. And I mean, I think he did a very good job pacing the whole syllabus. So by the end of 11th, and I guess uh, a month or so into 12th, we were basically done with the entire portion. After that, like Pavan said, it mostly went online. So since we were done with the portion, I would solve questions from some reference books I had and give model test papers or past year papers. And then every time I had a doubt or something that I couldn't solve on my own or using online modules, I would collect those doubts and then again twice a week or once a week, depending on how many doubts I had. I would have a class at Sir to clear those doubts. That was basically what happened throughout 12th. Then, and the same continued when lockdown happened. So, yeah, I guess the main thing that I like, the entire journey can be summarized as solving a lot of questions, a lot of papers, and then taking my doubts to the internet, to other books, or to Sudipta sir. And it was just that cycle that I kept going, and that's what my journey was like, I think. So yeah, like Pawan said, so the first main scenario had happened in January, and I did decently. I think I got a 98%, 98.3 percentile. The second mains are supposed to happen in March, but because of COVID, it got postponed. So it happened in August, I think. Uh, I was obviously a lot better prepared for that, and my marks increased in that mains. But like Pawan said, my percentile went down, and that was because of like fewer people giving the exam. And I think the particular paper that I had was very chemistry intensive, and I was not as well prepared for chemistry as I was for maths and physics. So again, because of that, my percentile went down. Then in September we had advanced, and I got a 7,000 rank, which was good enough for me to get into aerospace engineering of IIT Madras. So that's like a recap of my journey.
Wow. Yeah. And I think I'm getting goosebumps while you kind of say that whole thing, because it's been a quite quite an exciting journey. And I remember the day after your rank got announced, and Sudipta and your parents and you and me kind of were thinking about the ranking, the different programs. We made that Excel sheet. So yeah, it just
Yeah.
brings back those happy memories, and amazing. Great. So this is what Abhi shared about our journey, and right now, guys, the way we've kind of designed this session is we just want to have question Q and A, question answers. So feel free to ask your questions. The floor is open to that, and I think that's much better in an interactive way. We have a
Mhm.
nice, cozy little crowd today, so let's take advantage of that. And please do switch on your cameras and share your questions.
Hello, this is Harshit. I think
Hi.
we talked before, like, but it was long back about the JE class.
Mhm.
So I wanted to ask you that you mentioned some online module and test series. So
Hmm.
which one did you join? Which one did you use?
Yeah. So I joined 3 test series. That was basically all I did, especially during lockdown. So I joined Resonance. That was towards the start of 12. Resonance test series, all India. Then I joined the Bakliwal test series. And I joined, there's this website called MyPat. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's basically FitG's website. Like FitG makes these questions. It's not the same as the FitG All India test series, but it has a lot of the similar questions. So MyPat has a lot of resources. There are lots of papers of different levels, and I took a module which had mains, bits, and KVPY and advanced. So yeah, that's and each each exam had about 40 question papers, practice papers. So that in itself is a really good resource. Bakriwal was especially helpful because they had a fixed schedule, so every Tuesday they would have a test. And also in Bakriwal I got a ranking with all the other Bakriwal students, so that gave me a good idea of where I was standing. Resonance I did a little at the start of 12th, but it's kind of hard. it's designed for like people who are really well prepared for advance at the start of 12th itself. So because of that, I kind of didn't continue with resonance and only picked it up again towards the end, like right before advance. So those, yeah. And besides that, there are also really good sources on Mbibe. You get some free tests. BitSat especially is really helpful. And an academy sometimes has like open all India tests, and even on the an academy platform, you'll find good tests and modules.
Okay.
So that.
Sudipta here. So just to one backup question on this, I think many students would have this this question is that if I have to choose one test or two tests, would you have some advice, because you have taken a few and you may have something in mind that this is better than the other, or maybe
Yeah.
this is better for this than the other. I have to tell you that Harshit, for example, is shooting for JEE, but there are a couple of students who, for whom KVPY is the priority. So you
Okay.
might give, like, because you have seen 3 test series, maybe which one is better for KVPY, which one is better for JEE. So if you could tell a few words on it.
So KVPY, I don't think I'm qualified to tell because I didn't focus so much on that. If you look it up, I'm sure you'll get a lot of good reviews for the different test series. I've heard that for KVPY, it's best to just solve the past year papers, and that holds for mains and advanced, even BitSat. But yeah, if you want mains and advanced, I think MyPat is a really good resource. Solely because it has so many questions. So once you practice that many different kind of questions, you're going to get a good hang of it. And it's not at too high a level like resonance can sometimes be. Yeah, and bits specifically, I'd say do Mbibe. It's really good. It has, I think, 8 question papers, and they're like very well at the level that BitSat wants you to be at. And yeah, so mains, MyPat for sure. MyPat advanced questions are also really good. Sometimes they can be a little more advanced than you need them to be. For advanced specifically, resonance might be good, but don't start it too early because it can be intimidating to do that.
And what would you say about the FITGI tests?
The All India Test Series, yeah, it gets a lot of hype, and it's supposed to be a little harder than advanced actually is. The whole point of taking that is that you get a good, because almost everyone takes that, you get a good estimate of where you stand. I didn't take that test personally, so I don't know, but I know that a lot of those questions are carried over in MyPad too. So the level of questions, like I said, sometimes in advance it can be a little harder than is necessary, but otherwise it's really good. They're good questions.
Where
These question series also has at least some errors and like maybe out of syllabus questions also. So
Yeah,
all those things need to be filtered out. You have any
yeah.
strategies? How did you manage that? Because for example, one of the things that I saw happening was you bring a question and it turns out that it's like not correct, or
Right.
it's really out of syllabus, like kind of way out of syllabus and all that. So yeah, I mean, so one of
Yeah.
the things is that when a student who doesn't necessarily know that that is the case may feel that, oh, I'm not getting anything, which is kind of, which might push them to a bad mental state. So
Yeah.
they might be aware of that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is actually a problem with, I think, every test series I took. They try to like give answers and solutions for most questions, but sometimes I don't know, something goes wrong, and you can tell that while you're so like when I used to take these questions to Sudipta sir, we used to find out these mistakes together. Um, I wouldn't say any one test series is particularly good at filtering the mistakes as compared to another. I guess that way Bakliwal might be good because like if you have a friend, I had a friend in Bakliwal, so if I thought a certain question was wrong, then the friend would ask his friends or the professors, and if there is any clarification, I would get to know about that. Um, that's one advantage that Bakliwal has. Otherwise, a lot of the times, if you really think a question is wrong, a lot of questions are based on past year questions. So if you look up past year solutions, which is there's a really nice book series, Arihant Past Year series. They have all the questions and they have all the solutions, which are almost always correct, I think. So if you find a similar question in Arihant and you see that the solution is way off, then you know that that's wrong. So yeah.
Advay, please go ahead and ask your question.
Could you just repeat the names of the test series? I just wanted to note them down. You said MyPad for mains.
MyPad for mains, MBIBE for BitSat, Bakliwal in general, I think, and Resonance for advanced.
Okay, thank you so much. And for J for questions.
Fiji, I haven't done it, so I don't know exactly what is good for. But if you want, like if you're doing this through DLRC, you're not going to have like a great estimate of where you stand in like all India ranking terms. So if you do Fiji, most people giving JE are going to be giving that. So that will give you a good idea of where you stand.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, and just a clarification in general of this, since Bakliwal has been kind of coming around in today's dialogue, is that that is actually not a test series that is open completely to everybody, and so it's something that they considered it at that time. Just they were open, just one or two students they took across the city, but in lieu of that, what we can what I think students can also look out for is the other classes who have started their kind of their test series and look at that. And I think Imbibe is also a good platform, right, Avni, that you saw in general. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Imbibe is, I used Imbibe particularly for BitSat, and for that it was really good. I don't know about Imbibe advanced questions because I haven't really heard particularly great reviews for
Right.
that.
Okay. Because I mean, as an update at DLRC, what we're doing is we're actually taking the Imbibe platform and we're going to have the tests through that. So these are actually tests that are designed by DLRC, actually using the Imbibe question bank, and they kind of have the same IIT kind of thing.
Yeah, that's great. Like especially to start off with, Imbibe will be a great platform. Once you get to like the level where you're like confident with mains and bits level questions and you want to practice advanced, you can consider resonance, like I said. And always the best thing is to solve the past year questions. So yeah,
Right.
Imbibe will be good.
Right.
Especially in the starting to get used to like the whole testing environment. It's a
Right.
platform.
And do you gather the data that Imbibe gave that to be useful? Like, did that help in?
Like the feedback that they
Yeah.
gave at the end of every test. Yeah, it's a good way of recording your progress. And I didn't really look at the analytics that much because I used to just go over every question and the solution again. The solutions on Imbibe are pretty good, I'd say. So they have this one thing that no other platform has is they give video solutions for some questions, and I found that very useful.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah. Harshit?
Yes, I wanted to ask what reference books did you use?
Yeah. So for physics, I used H.C. Verma. For maths, I bought the entire Cengage series and I used that. Chemistry, I used some standard publication by Arihant. But I think chemistry, you should look it up or ask your professor or something, because I did not particularly like that book. again, chemistry also, it's best to solve past year questions. They have a very good resource, and very similar questions come every year. So
Do you repeat the name for maths?
Cengage. I think there's a new like a new publication based on the new pattern. So you should look that up. Cengage publication always has the best books for maths.
Okay, so you basically used HC Verma, and after you finished that, you moved on to test series and all.
Yeah. I did a little bit of Resnick and Halliday, but mostly test series. I didn't solve the whole of Resnick and Halliday.
Did you try using OP Tandon for chemistry? Do you have any opinion on that?
I didn't try using it for chemistry. For chemistry, I used Unacademy's resources a lot. So I watched all their videos that they had on every subject. Chemistry also, it's very important to read NCERT. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. For especially for organic and inorganic, physical, it's a little below the scope of JEE. But so I used Unacademy a lot, and NCERT, and also test series, but I did not use OP Tandon, so I don't have an opinion on that.
Do I see a raised hand from Harshit, or
No, Sudipta, if you have a question, please go
Oh, I
ahead.
forgot to lower it.
Advai?
Do you have any advice on managing the JEE process along with the 11th and 12th grade at DLRC side by side equally well?
So you're doing Cambridge at DLRC.
Yes.
Okay. Advice: you just have to be regular about both. So Cambridge, you really need to practice the question papers a lot more than say SSC or something, and that's a good thing because their questions are actually nice questions compared to the other boards, I'd say. Practice question papers for Cambridge and practice JEE a lot, and just be regular. Like I know a lot of people study 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, and all. I didn't do that. I studied 6 to 8 hours a day, but I did it every day, and I was very regular about giving papers. So at least once a week during the year, and when lockdown happened and right before the exams, it was twice or thrice a week, and just before it was like once a day papers. So as long as you're regular and you're disciplined about it, you'll be able to manage it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Avni, when you say 6 to 8 hours, is it combined, or are you just saying for Cambridge and for the separate?
This 6 to 8 hours was just JEE. When boards come, you have to do a little bit more if you want to keep the JEE practice going. So Cambridge practice also was like 3 or 4 hours a day before my AS levels. A is harder, but I didn't give that. So again, it's only harder because for me at least, it was a new kind of question paper. So you need to be able to solve and write in the way that they want you to write, and they want to see your answers. So that's the difference.
But I wanted to ask about AS level.
Yeah.
So, did you like throughout the year you studied mainly for JEE, and then as the exam came by, you started solving question papers? Is that
Yeah, that's basic. So obviously, I attended all the Cambridge classes. Cambridge theory basically overlaps with JEE theory. There's just some, I guess, one or two concepts that will be a little bit different. But if you understand the base well, you shouldn't have a problem with that. I think a few months before AS, I started practicing the question papers. Practice a lot, as many as you can past your papers. and you should get the hang of it easily. It's not very hard. You just, as long as you understand what you're doing, you'll be able to solve it well.
You said 6 to 8 hours a day. That's
Yeah.
excluding the, let's say, the class time of DLRC. That's a lot. Or
No,
is that
that was in 12th. Yeah, in 11th, I think it was 3 or 4 hours after school. So on the days that there was JEE classes, and that would count as my studying. On the other days, I'd come home and solve some for that much time. Again, it's not like because even sitting in classes, you're learning a lot, right? And if you practice sums along with solving it on the board, it does count as practice. You might just want to come home and practice a little more JEE specific questions. That's all.
May I add one thing here? So one of the things she mentioned is that, say, she pulled it off with 3 hours of study on a weekday, right? So the reason is, and she mentioned it, is that you learn a lot from the class. So if you're attentive in class, you pick up 70-80% right there. But there's a big difference between being attentive in class and not being attentive. If you're not being attentive in class, then you have that backlog which you have to do, and you will struggle to find the time for it. So just saying.
That was a very, very important point, Sudipta. Thanks for getting it up. And in terms of the I would say other study material, Avni, what other study material did you use apart from these textbooks that you mentioned?
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, I used Unacademy a lot. It's again, it's really good for like JEE specific theory or questions like that. So Unacademy has these on I don't know about the Unacademy platform per se, but I did use their YouTube channel a lot, especially when I had like a very theoretical doubt that I needed clarifying. They have videos on basically every concept, and they also have these tutorials where they solve questions that can be really basic. So if you're like, for example, I was having a hard time with capacitors, so I did the tutorials. They start really simple, so you can keep up with that, but then eventually they build up, and it's like a good practice to and for me it worked to see somebody solve the question and then kind of understand the concepts and ideas and then mimic that, and then after that solve some questions from a book you have or something like Etsy Verma.
Okay, and while we're waiting for other questions, I had shared, I had a bucket of questions that I think would be useful for the students also, and us who are mentoring the students. So what were the kind of challenges that you had in your first year in 11th standard and 12th standard?
Okay. First year, because I was at DLRC, it was mainly time management, like deciding when to do Cambridge, when to take away time just for JEE stuff, and finding that time in between classes to solve some sums if I know I won't have time when I go back home or something like that. 11, it was all about time management. Obviously, it still plays a role in 12th. In 12th, especially during lockdown, I had a lot of time, and every day I was like waking up, studying, and then like in the evening I would go water my plants or something like that. In 12th, I guess one of the challenges that will definitely come is like getting disheartened. So like I said, I was giving tests very regularly, and not all of them went well, obviously, and there were a lot of times where I was very stagnant in my score. So that Tasa knows, like sometimes we had a few classes where we would just try to discuss what kinds of problems I was making continuously and how to fix that. So yeah, I think that was the main thing, getting disheartened, not wanting to, because that year really got stretched by a lot, right? So keeping up the motivation for so long was one of the challenges.
Right. And how did you do that? In the first year, the challenge that you said about time management, and in the second year about motivation, how did you surpass those challenges?
Yeah, like I said, in the first year, I was disciplined. I had like every day I would make sure I met my target for myself. Like maybe it's solving questions from one chapter from Cengage or one chapter from HC Verma. I made sure I met my targets. And 12th, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of like I didn't have another option, and I knew I really wanted IIT. So even if I'm not doing so well, eventually I will do well. So you try to think about how you can fix this issue of stagnating where you're going wrong. And then you like keep going. Eventually you do see the progress. So yeah.
Plain and simple, right?
Yeah.
Very well put. Yeah, Ketan, please go ahead.
Hello, yeah, this is Ketan here. Congratulations, Avni. It's a good
Thank you.
achievement. Okay,
Thank
I
you.
have a question not specific to you per se, but overall.
Yeah.
So my son Nilay, he is now moving to 9th standard,
Okay.
and we are looking at option which institute he should join. Like we have, I think right now our options were Allen, Bakliwal,
Okay.
M. Prakash, and I did not know about DLRC doing it. So one of my friends told me, so I attend this session now. So maybe I wanted some guidance on that side, whether it's the right time to start studying. 9th standard is moving to, and whether DLRC takes non-DLRC people in the batch. So that's the kind of question I had to start with.
Yeah. So I think Pawan can answer the DLRC specific questions, but about when he should start, I started, like I said, towards the end of 10th, like really after 10th got over. I had the option to start in 9th, but I didn't really think about it because I don't know, I didn't think it was necessary, and I didn't want to like burn out. These like physics, maths, things that I really like. I didn't want to like get get the fun out of it by getting into the competitive stage at 9th itself. DLRC is good that way if he does a foundation at DLRC, because it's still about the subjects and not so much about getting marks in the end exam. That's why I liked DLRC a lot. And yeah, about which institute is better, I don't know. I haven't like, I don't have any personal experience, and I didn't even consider it. So yeah, you might want to like ask people who have done it in 9th and 10th. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But do you feel that you had enough time to prepare after, even if you started after 10th? Because nowadays I see people they are advertising classes from 7th onwards. So
Yeah, I didn't expect, and I didn't want a like sub 1000 rank. With the rank that I got a good branch in a good college, and I'm doing stuff that's really interesting for me. If you want a sub 1000 rank, I guess you need to start in 7th and just make your whole life about that. That's not what I wanted. And I know, like in my class, basically everyone I know did school and did coaching for 3 hours a day and started in 11th, and everyone got in, right? So it's not like you have to start in 7th or you don't get in at all. There's very few people I know from my college who actually did that. Maybe it's just because they're in CS department and not in my department that I don't know about them. But yeah, yeah.
okay, thanks, Samir.
And just to add to this, yes, we do take students even outside DLRC in the JE program and the foundation program. So we can connect later. I'll put my email down. So
Sure.
connect.
Sure.
I have one backup question on this. Can I?
Yes.
So So you said that you did time management well, and which I mean, I as an observer kind of saw that. But tell me, I mean, I also see other students not doing time management that well. So really, one of the things is it your parents who are kind of behind you, who kind of guided you, or you are just self-disciplined on time management especially?
Yeah, I mean, my mom would like ask me every day how many hours you've done, but she's not particularly strict about it or anything. Like if I did 4 hours, it's fine. I'll do more the next day. It's mostly I think I really wanted it, and I saw how hard like other people around me were working for it. So I knew what I had to do to get in, and parents are helpful obviously because it's someone to be accountable to. If you don't like your parents managing you, then have a friend who you are accountable to, or who you measure your effort against or something. And I had that too. So like if I completed my plan, I would be like report to the friend, or if I couldn't complete it, then we would strategize how to do so later or something. So yeah.
Wow, actually, before taking Aditya's question, would like to really talk a little about this. I mean, it's a very important part. I didn't know about that. Is about this accountability. So, how did you set up this system with this friend of yours, and how did that kind of work?
It was just I set up this. There was nothing to set up. We both wanted to make a certain amount of progress, and we both had certain plans. So you talk to the friend. You're like, okay, what's your plan for today? You're going to finish these many lectures, these many sums, and my plan is to finish this much. And if I need help, I'll go to the friend. Like a few basic doubts if I need to be clarified, or maybe like we'd plan to do a certain chapter during the day, and then in the evening we'd call each other and ask questions about that chapter, and each of us would answer the question that the other person asked, or something like that.
And it was like a daily kind of connect up or a weekly connect up.
Yeah, for me it was daily, but yeah, weekly is also fine. I mean, whatever works for you, right? uh, it just so that so that you have somebody holding you accountable for your progress. Otherwise it's very easy to convince yourself that I don't actually need to do this today, I'll do it tomorrow. It doesn't matter if I do it in a few weeks, the exam is like 3 months away, what's the big deal? But if you know somebody else is making progress, then you kind of want to keep up to that, and you've made a promise to somebody else, so you want to make sure you fulfill that promise. So whatever works for you really, but having somebody hold you accountable is always a nice thing.
Right. And what were your goals like? Like, if you can just
Uh,
walk us through.
yeah, so it depends. Like, say, as a goal during lockdown, maybe I'll solve a paper and I'll correct all the questions that I got wrong. Or while I'm still learning the theory thing, it will be like I'll learn all about P block elements, and in the evening you can ask me questions on P block and I should be able to answer all of them, or something like that. So yeah, you'll have to set your own goals based on how much progress you've made and what you want to achieve. Like this example of P block. At some point during my preparation, there was I was scoring very low in inorganic chemistry. So I had a week where I just did inorganic, one chapter a day, and in the evening my friend would ask me questions about that chapter, and by the end of the week I got a lot more marks in inorganic. So something like that.
Interesting. And ever did you put these goals about, okay, I'll do 30 problems every day of PCM? Do those kind of things work?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, that's for me. It was 30 problems are happening through the papers. But if you don't want to do a paper, you can say I'll solve 30 each or something, and that's equivalent to a paper, but specific subjects if you want. So yeah, of course it works.
Right. Great. Aditya's been raising his hand since a long time. Aditya, please go ahead and ask your question.
So I had a question about the problems that you solve. So
Hmm.
the method that you solve them in, is it like you have, say, some 10 problems that you have to solve in a certain time duration, or you just take your time solving each problem to understand it, or what do you do exactly?
Yeah, so that's the difference between giving a paper and solving to understand the concept. So while I was understanding the concept, especially while solving problems with Sudipta sir, we would take our time and really get to the root of it. And I think that it especially helped me during advance, and because in advance they throw really any kind of question at you. There's no specific way of solving it. So being able to understand the concept from the ground up is very important. So it is important to take your time. Once you get used to a certain, once you understand a certain pattern of solving a question or something, then take that to a paper and see how you do under a type pressure. So you need to do both, but while you're still learning the concepts, take your time and actually understand what's happening.
I have one question.
Hmm.
Did you like do all three subjects in one day by assigning them some work to do, or did you like assign one subject one day?
Some days I never did 3 subjects a day. It gets overwhelming and your brain just won't take in all that at once. Especially if you're studying. If you're just solving questions, you can try that. It's like giving an extended paper or something. Um, I usually do 1 subject a day, or maybe till lunch maths, and then after lunch physics or something, if I can manage what my goal for that day is uh, within that much time. I won't suggest doing all subjects in a day. It's too much.
Okay.
And I would kind of second Avani here, just so that, because really, especially when you are learning the topics, okay. Once you have learned the topics, then maybe you can do more subjects a day. But while you are learning, it's better to do like 1 or at most 2 subjects a day.
Yeah.
Ketan, please go ahead.
Yeah, I had very basic question right now, Avni. So basically,
Yeah.
when did you decide that you want to do this IIT? Because
Uh,
right now my son is
mhm.
me and my son are discussing, and he is not sure. So how to be sure, or how to at least know that it is right for me or not for? So how did you evaluate yourself in that?
um, well, I kind of knew I wanted to do engineering fairly early on. I used to do robotics and I really liked it. So I thought like the next step is an engineering college.
Mhm.
But I didn't start preparations for JE specifically till
Mhm.
11th. And I think that's when I decided I want to do the competitive exams. Yeah, but I don't think it's necessary to know in ninth, because at least for me till ninth, I didn't even have biology chapters or
Right.
physics chapters or anything like that. I didn't know if I liked it.
Okay.
In 10th, I knew I didn't like biology and I liked physics a lot more.
Okay.
So then I decided, yeah,
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
yeah.
Can you talk a little more about that, the other aspect that is especially, and that happens a lot in like the second year, is that there are doubts that creep in. Would I be able to pull it off, right? The thing that you're
Yeah.
talking about, and how you really cope with that, because that's a phase where, after putting in some effort, you may at points of times think that, my God, I may not get it.
Yeah.
And so that there is a scare there, there is a, you have invested this much of time. So how did you manage that emotion? That is one thing where I see many people kind of fumbling. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. So, okay, I won't consider myself an expert in managing the emotions. I had enough times where I was really afraid and really frustrated. Um, but I think for me, it was I wanted to do engineering for sure. So, to continue to put in those, as I knew that one way or the other I'll end up in a somewhat good engineering college, and that's what I wanted, right? So there was no option to give up or something, because I don't know what would I do if I gave up. I'd probably join a BSc college, but I knew I wouldn't have fun doing that as much as I would have. Yeah, like I had enough times where I was crying about bad marks and tests and things like that. And I there my family and my sister really helped, like to keep encouraging me, like you can do this, you've made so much progress so far. uh yeah, so I don't know, you cry one day and then you just start again the next day because you have to, because that's how you're going to make it to where you want to be. So I don't know, I mean, I think a good way to like keep your mental state good is um, do another thing also. Like for me, it was watering my plants or exercising with my sister. Like just something that's going to calm you down, because if you're constantly in that state of I have to go back and solve 80 questions, if I don't do this much I'm never going to make it, or something like that, you're going to get really frustrated and burnt out. But if you have something that calms you, takes your mind off it, it helps. Yeah. And yeah, like having a good support system, so my sister, my parents, my friends, like they kept me going, sort of. Yeah.
So, Avni, how did you manage distractions all throughout, like social media, friends, TV, whatever, other things?
I didn't have social media in 11th and 12th. I only got it after my exams were over. Friends, I would go out and like take a walk or play something with my friends almost every evening. And I needed that to like keep me sane and happy and not constantly frustrated. I think it was good for me. Lockdown, I would talk to them on the phone or something. I didn't consider it a distraction, because my friends like kind of knew all of us were like working towards getting into a good college. So we had evenings set aside to like wind down with each other. Friends, TV, I don't know. I never like really binge watch or anything, so that wasn't a problem. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's it. It's easy to manage if you like what you're doing. You start getting distracted if you're really frustrated and you want something to take your mind off what's in front of you and stuff. But I was having fun with the problems, and I was especially having fun seeing myself make progress.
Hmm.
That's what helps to like keep you going.
Hmm.
So that way distractions weren't that big an issue for me.
Right, right. And also about the number of students in your class. Like in
Mhm.
first year, you had two at least, and of course, having being the lone student is a different, I would say, ball game. But when you had lower number of students, like at DLRC, we have maximum of 10 number of students in the batch. So how do you see that as an advantage? What are the challenges there? And do you feel that and did that help you out having lower number of students?
Yeah, yeah. So it definitely helped me out, because at any given moment, Sudipta sir knew exactly where I was in terms of my preparation, or how well I grasped a concept and all, and he could help me with that. So like when I was doing really badly in tests or something, Sudipta sir would sit with me and help me analyze my papers. So like having somebody who understands the whole game, I guess, and knowing you very well and your progress very well, it helps a lot. And yeah, and having close peers who are going to be at generally the same level as you is also a really good thing, because that will keep you competitive, and it will like motivating, and you get the help you want from them. So yeah.
Great, great. And now talking about the second year, where you were the kind of the only student, how was that experience? How do you, what advantage did you see there, and was there any disadvantage?
Yeah, disadvantage was while I still didn't have friends from outside DLRC, I didn't like, I felt kind of alone in my preparation. I didn't know how I was doing relative to other people and all. Once I found friends, I guess, who were also doing the same thing, it was fine, because I could measure my progress against them, and like we had a common ground to talk about things and all. But the same advantage as having a small class. I could like Sudipta sir could really help me in what exactly I needed. So yeah.
Right, right. Uh, Now, I also have a question on related to this the Cambridge AS syllabus that you did,
Mhm.
and the overlap with the JEE. How did that kind of help you? And do you think that brought in more efficiency with respect to your JEE theory and the Cambridge theory? I mean, because was
Yeah.
there an overlap that you saw, and how much do you think is approximately the overlap, and how did that help the way pattern of learning?
Mm. So syllabus wise, the overlap is, I'd say, like 95% at the most. I mean, that's how much of Cambridge is covered in JEE. JEE is obviously a more vast syllabus, but like there'll be one or two concepts outside of JEE in Cambridge. But as long as you understand the base concept, they're not hard at all to grasp. And in terms of pattern, again, Cambridge, like JEE, focuses on problem solving. The Cambridge problems are a lot easier, but it's a good way to like build your base and understand how to solve the problem, compared to the other like state board and CBSE and all. They're more theory intensive. So which is, it's still good, because I did state board in 12th. So state board has a lot of information in chemistry and physics especially, and that's sometimes beyond JEE, but it's just information. It's good to learn, because sometimes it can be like interconnected and it will help you. But Cambridge is a lot more problem oriented, and that's what JEE is also going to be like. So the sooner you get used to that pattern, the better.
Right, right. So I guess we've got a lot of questions covered, and this is just amazing to hear, and it feels as if, we should just kind of dialogue on. We're and others feel free to kind of ask other questions. Now, um, I would say that the one other question I had, curious question, is that did you have any habits that you think did not help your cause, Avni, and um, how did you surpass them?
Habits and I don't think I had bad habits as such. I like I don't know, some people might consider going out every day as a bad habit, but I think it
Yeah,
helped me
so
out
not
in
like,
the end.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, the main challenge was the emotional challenges, not
Hmm.
sorry, not in terms of habits. So
Right,
yeah.
right. In terms of
Yeah.
solving the papers, did you have a particular habit where you maybe spent too much time or only answered the question when you knew the entire question I mean, whether you thought you had the right answer in your mind? And do you think that really helped out in the end? And or what do you say about that?
Sorry, can you
Yeah, so I'm
clarify
saying
that?
you had this. Did you have this habit of solving a question and attempting a question only when you know 100%?
Uh, yeah, no, while giving practice papers, that wasn't the case. I solved whatever I thought I had a general idea. While giving the actual papers, yeah, I did. So I usually used to keep a target for myself, how many questions I want to solve in a given paper. So say in mains, it was around 60, especially towards the second paper. So first I would attempt all the questions that I was pretty sure of and get that out of the way. Then I'd spend whatever time I had remaining, like maybe 45 minutes, going over the questions that I wasn't 100% about and solving those. So,
Great. And yeah,
yeah, sorry.
no problem. And now I think it'll be exciting to know about life after JEE. I mean, it's like, tell us about that. Like, how's it been? How's IIT Madras? And what all other things are you doing? And yeah,
So it's really great. IIT Madras is great. I'd say I haven't got the chance to actually see the campus and meet my peers and seniors, but so we still have a lot going on in online SEM. Obviously, we have our courses going on, and we also have like last last month we had 3 fests, which was the cultural fest, the tech fest, and the entrepreneurship fest. And I got to volunteer and help in the organization of that. That was really cool. And also now we have like our clubs are starting their applications and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot to do. Even in the online semester, we have a lot going on. The professors are great, obviously, especially the department professors, whichever department it is, because they're really interested in that exact subject that they're teaching you. And yeah, and there's just so many opportunities to try out anything from finance to building a Mars rover to learning to dance or something. It is limited while things are online, so I haven't gotten to explore all of it, but there is a lot of very cool stuff going on. Yeah.
wow, great, amazing, and really nice to hear about that. And looking forward to see the kind of projects that are coming out and having a meetup with. Yeah, we'll try to steal you on a Sunday for a few hours. I mean, for 1 hour, and maybe just connect up with some things periodically. Um, Great. If there is any no other kind of question, I think it's yeah 11:58.
When is your campus opening? Any word from your director?
No, we don't know yet. Our third trimester just started, so that's going to be completely online for sure. And then maybe for our labs, we'll be called back in July or August. But that's dependent on like how much the cases have risen by then and whether people get vaccine and stuff like that. We don't. There's no official word on when the campus is opening.
Have you made friends?
Yeah.
Is there anyone or a couple of people who you are in, like who you call every day, like good friends? Have they happened yet?
Yeah, I have a few friends. I don't call them every day, but we do talk about like what's going on in college and through most of my friends are through activities that I've done. Like maybe if I volunteered for a certain club, then people who were also volunteering and things like that. So yeah, we have things to talk about, like how the courses are going and which activities we want to do next and stuff like that.
Do you collaborate in studies? Like, you know,
Yeah.
the pressure, how's the pressure during the middle of the semester? Trimesters must be quite heavy, right? Or no?
Yeah, first year I think is a little harder than the other years, at least from what I've heard from my senior, because they're all common courses, so you have to compete with people who've got like rank 13 and they're doing CS, and you are being graded on the same level, and it's relative grading, so that's it's a little bit yeah, it's a little scary, but it's not so hard to cope up with. And as far as I've seen, most people, especially among my seniors, they aren't just focused on academics. So they all have at least two other projects going on. Course-wise, like I said, the department courses, they're easier and they're also really fun. Because like we had a course where we were learning about thermodynamics of rockets. So that was, yeah, that was very interesting. And it was, I mean, it was a really basic level, but it was surprisingly easy kind of to grasp. Once you've gone through JEE, the problems that they show you in engineering, they're a lot more basic because they aren't designed to like trick you into falling for some that like design around the real world, and it's fun. Yeah.
But they're real stuff, right?
Yeah,
They're based on real things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best part. It's like so for our thermodynamics course, we were analyzing open and closed systems of like turbines and nozzles on jet engines and stuff. So it just felt really amazing.
So that's thermodynamics. Isn't one other course coming up which is based on like turbulence and fluid flow? There must be one course
Yeah,
which is.
we have. That's going to be next semester. This time we have like CS and electrical courses this semester. Yeah.
Great.
And what are the kind of projects that you're doing? Have you taken on any extra projects on your own? Are students doing any?
So yeah, so there are a lot of, so we have this place called the for Innovation, and within that there are competition teams that work on, say the Mars Rover team is a competition team for the University Rover Challenge, and then so there are multiple like that, and then there are clubs for different departments like computer vision, programming, aero modeling, and stuff like that. And within each club there are like 2 or 3 projects. So right now, just like this week, the applications for getting into a project team have come out, so I'm working on those applications now. Once I get in, let's see, hopefully I'll get into the projects I like. Yeah,
Exciting, I think. And apart from
anyone in your department interested in drones? Sorry,
yeah.
Pawan.
No problem.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. So there was this student innovation project fair kind of thing where everybody had to propose their not had to, like if you had a good idea you can propose it, and then C5 will take it up as a project. So yeah, there was a group of like 20 people from my department, and we worked on a bunch of drone ideas, and 2 of them got approved. So yeah, a drone, the entire Aero Club is basically about drones for now, because it's since it's online, we mostly get to work on the programming aspect. So they're working on stuff like programming autonomous navigation in a drone and stuff like that. So yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah,
and apart from all this study stuff and technical stuff, are there any other internships that you're doing, or
in not now. I did some freelancing at the start of the year as a script writer, YouTube script writer. That wasn't through college. Right now, the cultural clubs aren't as active because a lot of it involves being there in person, like dance or media club, which like goes on trips to take photos of like wildlife and stuff like that. Cultural clubs aren't as active. Sports is obviously not active right now. But like once we get to campus, there's going to be a lot of that too. We had our cultural fest, so they had a lot of competitions like send your singing or playing music or drama or something like that. I did not participate in any of that because I don't have those skills, but it does happen in college.
Right. So this freelancing stuff, what was that? What was that?
It was just something I took up like right before my college started. I got hired by a productivity YouTuber, and he wanted me to write scripts for his YouTube videos. So it was just like some work experience kind of.
Nice. How did that happen? Like, have you?
Again, yeah, so I took inspiration from a friend who was also freelancing, and I applied for this through Upwork, and I did it for some time. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, exciting. So many
I
things.
think she just likes to be busy. That's all.
Yeah.
Good, great. Well, Avni, thanks a lot for taking out time on Sunday, and we've been talking about this in some time, and finally it happens. And thanks for everybody for coming over. And hey, there's Ajay. And
Hello, sir.
I've
so
been listening all along and absorbing everything that Avani is saying, reminiscing and reflecting on her journey as I saw her over the years that she was with us. So lovely.
Thank you.
So it's been wonderful, and thanks for everybody for coming over. And yeah, have a great Sunday. Be safe, be happy, and looking forward to know more about your projects, Avni. Keep
Thank
tugging
you.
and yeah, keep flying high. And I'm waiting for that order I made about the electric aeroplane. Let me know whenever it's ready. Yeah.
Soon enough, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Avani. Thank you, Avani, for your insights, and it was really useful.
Thank you.
And all the best for your studies and your future progress.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, great, Avni. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. See you soon, and
Yeah.
keep doing some awesome stuff. And looking forward to get inspired.
Avani, Mona has a few questions for you. So
Yeah, of course.
so she just wants to talk to you.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, hi Avni.
Hello, how are you?
Just the three of us here now.
Yeah.
So how's life?
Good. It's really good.
Good. And you haven't yet gone to Chennai, obviously.
No.
So doing designing online, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, good. No, I just one thing that I wanted to add to your talk, but then I thought of it just now, is one thing you can always tell the students. One thing that really I feel is a good reason for your youth success is that you never procrastinated anything. At least that's what I found even when facilitating you in the school. In spite of preparing for JE, etc., you always got all your homework done. In fact, there were times in English when only your work was done and others didn't do it. So this is very, very wonderful quality of yours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Great. Wonderful talk. Really. Go places. Go places.
Thank you.
And not just online. Great. Wonderful. Wishing you the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye.
छोड़ दो एकदम. Chalo. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye. Say hi to everybody at home. Bye.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Thank you.